Okay, everybody. Well, good morning and welcome to our Wednesday talk for this summit week, right? Um, welcome to today is October 26th. We're on Wednesday, so we're talking about falls and nutrition. We actually are having an expert today. His name is Roberto Couto. Good. So we are
Yeah.
going to be talking about falls and nutrition today. Okay, everybody. I'm just going to kind of jump right on in and start with this. My name is Sean. If you don't know me, I am a health program coordinator here with Healthy Aging Association, and I am accompanied with Roberto right now. And he's going to be saying some great facts later about nutrition and ways that actually plays into fall prevention. Okay, so with that, we'll just dive on in. Okay, great. First things first, to let everybody know, this session is going to be recorded. Okay, so if you feel uncomfortable or anything like that, please feel free to just turn off your video. The recording will be posted on our website and social media pages. All participants are going to be muted. You should be muted right now. During the session, just so we can get through the presentation pretty smoothly. At the end, we will do questions, but we will do them through the chat box, okay? We wanted to do a quick special thanks to our sponsors. Healthy Aging Association is one of them. Kaiser Permanente in Stanislaus County, the Area Agency on Aging. I actually have a phone number at the end of this presentation for you for them. We also have a couple others that are from Central Valley Medical Group, E.J. Gallo Winery. That's another sponsor we have going on here with Alignment Health, and just so you can see who is all contributing to this amazing week that we get to do of amazing things for you all. Okay. So these are just showing some more of the sponsors and just kind of the emerald package or the sapphire package or bronze package of them. And they've all been amazing with the things they donated, with things that are going to be in those summit bags that we're handing out, and things like that. So it's really great that they were so involved with this whole organization and everything we're doing this week. Okay. So we're talking a little bit too about these event bag distributions, right? Today is like day big number one, okay? Right now, as I'm talking, they are handing out the rest of the green bags, but they are going to be doing at this location, at the Stanislaus Veterans Center from 2:30 to 4 p.m. They'll be doing a drive-through for their bags. They already did one this morning in Grayson from 11:15 to 11:45. But if you are in the Modesto area and you want to come on down and get your summit bag and see what goodies we got and everything for you all, come on down from 2:30 to 4. Okay. And then we have some upcoming dates as well. If you're in Oakdale or Riverbank or Ceres, we have Oakdale and Riverbank tomorrow that's going on. You can see these times right here. And then we have a series is going to be on Friday with the bag distribution as well. Okay, so a lot of fun stuff. There's some really good stuff in those bags. I helped pack some of them. There's a lot of bags and a lot of fun little goodies in them. Okay, so make sure you come on down and get one. Okay, they are first come, first serve. You don't have to make an appointment or anything. You just come on down within those times. So without further ado, today we are going to be talking about those falls and the relationships with nutrition, right? We're going to be going from 2 o'clock to 2:30 today. If you have joined me with my Wellness Wednesday, sometimes we go a little bit over, but today we're going to be staying within that 30-minute time limit, okay? So we're just doing a little bit of the introductions right now. We were recapping on those videos. They're going to be posted on Facebook and the website. There's 3 main points to take away from these videos, right? We're going to talk a little bit about different services in the community in Stanislaus County that will be for nutrition as well as for fall prevention in general, okay? We'll be doing the questions and answers at the end. So please use that chat box, okay? And just send the questions to me. You can just add Summit Sean or hey Sean this, or you have a question about that, okay? while we're going through things, just kind of, if something pops up, just throw it in the chat box and I'll remember, and I'll keep it on there, and then we'll go ahead and shoot those to Roberto at the end. And we'll try to answer as many as possible. Okay, we might not be able to get to all the questions, but we'll try to answer as many as we can. Okay, great. Okay, and then we're just going to talk about a couple of handouts really quick before I do hand it on over to Roberto. We're just going to talk about a couple of quick things. Okay, so we're going to be talking about these handouts that can be found on our website for healthyagingassociation.org. Okay, I think I pulled a couple cool examples for you both. First is a handout that's taking action to prevent falls. Okay, if you do know me, I am the program coordinator for the Dignity at Home Fall Prevention Program. If you do qualify for the program, we come by, do an in-home assessment, and we do make recommendations for things to be changed for fall risk, right? So if that's getting rid of that old throw rug, or you know, looking out and covering these cords that are in the way in the hallway. We also make recommendations for installations through Home Safety Services, and that comes from us. It's a great program to do. So my advice is just to join a fall prevention program today. That could be the Dignity at Home program or some of these other fall prevention programs you're going to hear about. So see if you qualify for the Dignity at Home Fall Prevention Program. Okay, that would be calling that senior information line or area agency on aging. They can let you know, or they can start the process, or you can always call me and ask some questions if you'd like. And you can also overcome your fear of falling. If you see on the bottom of this flyer is a matter of balance class. It's a great class to take and participate in. It's all about becoming over that fear of falling. Okay, so you're overcoming your fear of falling. You do a little bit of exercise, but it's mostly about getting through that psychological portion, right, of, you know, not being as limited as you might be, right? So pushing yourself a little bit and doing things that you used to do so you keep up your mobility and prevent falls. That's our goal with all these programs. Okay, good. And then the second one I wanted to throw on in here was prevent falls. This is on our website. So it's one of the flyers that's up there. It's actually 5 short videos that was provided from Kaiser Permanente. I just have a nice little list here of each video's title. We got preventing falls in older adults, preventing falls doing leg lifts. As you can see, the picture of the little guy doing leg lifts. We have our 4 fall stoppers, 2 exercises to prevent falls, and seat exercises that can prevent falls. So I love that last one because a lot of people think that they can't do exercises or something like that because they can only stay seated, right? So these videos are all found on our website under the events tab. And if you click them, the longest one's like 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes, I think. So it's a good one. I encourage you to look at all those videos. And with further ado, I wanted to hand this on over to our nutritionist, Roberto. So
thank you. Appreciate it.
Roberto, of course.
Thank you, Sean. Appreciate it. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm going to be talking about falls in nutrition and how we can be able to prevent any further falls or any falls that are may be damaging to your nutritional status. So my name is Roberto, as I said, as Sean said before, and I'm a registered dietitian. I am a dietitian for WellBe Health Sequoia Pace in Fresno. It's kind of cool to see that one of my organizations, one of the buildings in Modesto is coming up. So that is something that is super awesome to see that they're supporting the Healthy Aging Association too. So we'll move on to my first slide, and it's going to be for just an overview of the nutrition and fall risk relationship. So as you see here on the left side, it shows a poor nutritional status, and it correlates with high fall risk because sarcopenia, which means that there's muscle loss, or maybe aging individual is having a low protein intake because of fear or misinformation. We also have the medication and food interactions. sometimes we have a lot of individuals that have some side effects of the medications. And what registered dietitians do is we work around that. We make a plan on trying to make some timing and making sure that you're eating appropriate foods for that, and also for poor food access and food insecurity. So with those three main things, those indicate high fall risk because you're not getting enough nutrients, you're not getting the appropriate protein intake, or maybe you just don't have access to any of the foods nearby. And in Fresno, we have a lot of food deserts, and that means that no food stores within a radius of 5 miles. So it's very dangerous, and that's why we have government programs to be able to help older adults to get to food to them, or have food come to them, or have food come to them, and or get rides to go to the stores. So we'll move on to the next one. The next slide, we're going to talk about the indicators of poor nutritional and fall risk relationship. So these are the three main things. These are the ones that we want to address with older adults or with aging individuals, and making sure that they're eating appropriately, making sure they're aware of what medications they're taking and the interactions with other nutrients. So I'll give you guys a good example in that slide about warfarin. Warfarin is one of the medications that we do need to be a little bit careful with because it thins the blood and also causes high fall risk depending on what you're eating too. So we're going to also go talk about poor food access and food insecurity. That is the number one problem I see in a lot of older adults in the Central Valley, is the access to food and not getting the appropriate food choices for their conditions. So we'll move on to the next one. We're going to go deeper down into the anorexia of aging. This is a normal and unique process of aging. It doesn't mean anything bad. It is very neutral. However, it is very hard to determine whether or not anorexia is prevalent in older adults because that's a natural process of aging. So if you see a pattern of individuals who are not eating enough and they have a large pattern of around 25 to 50% of their intake, and they're noticing that they're not as hungry, then that's something that we do need to want to monitor and making sure that they're eating the appropriate foods while they have the appetite. So I make a good example on the teenager versus the aging individual comparison. When you're a teenager, you're eating a lot more, and you hear the comparison about, man, if I was 13 years old, 14 years old again, I would be eating a cow. Or when I was younger, I was eating a cow. And now as you get older, we see a lot of individuals that are not as hungry as much. And that's normal. It is not bad, but making sure that we're skipping meals, that may not be the best thing for as we age. So it's really important to show the importance of protein-rich foods and making sure that we have a healthy dietary pattern. So I provide an intervention that's plant-based or animal-based proteins according to your body weight. So when you're at a certain weight, we want to make sure that we're having the appropriate amount of protein. And depending on your condition, we do want to make sure we be careful with anyone who has chronic kidney disease in stages 3, A, B, and 4. 5, you have no limitations to your protein because that's considered dialysis. And that is something that we do want to make sure that we're being careful with. So adding protein to your meals is one of the main things that would help you preventing any breakdown of muscle or any of your appetite. So a good example would be putting eggs into your salad, or having egg whites into your soups, adding egg into your milkshakes. These are things that help you with increasing your protein intake. Just making it super small. It doesn't have to be having 6 eggs. It could just be 1 egg, because every egg has around 7 grams of protein. So that's significant. For anyone that's around 120 pounds, that's roughly 45 grams of protein. That's just 6 eggs a day. And that's the equivalent for that type of individual. So we're going to move on to the next one. That's the medications and the food interactions. So it's really important as we get older, we want to make sure we're asking questions to our primary care provider or our doctors, seeing what type of medications have certain side effects. There's going to be many of them that show anorexia or decrease in appetite because there might be a phase in the medication that prevents you from having any hunger. like painkillers or pain medications. Now you see that a lot in individuals with acetaminophen or hydrocodone when they have a large amount of pain. They don't feel hungry. So that's why we want to make sure we monitor someone's appetite when it comes to pain medications. The next thing is polypharmacy. According to a peer research in the United States back in 2016, there's an average of 2 to 9 medications per day per individual taken from the aging individuals. And so as we get older, that's something that we do want to be careful with. And if there's any medications that may not be appropriate for some individuals, we want to make sure we minimize it as much as we can. And it's no problem to have around 5 to 4, just making sure that we're being careful with the side effects. So for this intervention, we just want to talk about timing. So when it comes to foods that are appropriate for, let's just say a good example off the top of my head is antibiotics. And anyone that's having problems with their GI, we want to make sure we be careful with calcium. So calcium supplements are very important to monitor and timing because it actually makes it worse. Appetite's going to go off, stomach problems, feeling nauseous. So that's why we want to make sure we take the medication and we wait 2 hours after to ensure that the calcium supplement is absorbed efficiently, especially as we age, because efficiency in our minerals go down a lot. And we want to talk about warfarin. Warfarin is another medication that a lot of individuals who are taking to regulate the blood flow and high protein, any vegetables that have vitamin K, that's we want to be careful with. So taking 2 hours after your medication or 4 to 6 hours after you wake up, if you take it at nighttime, to make sure that we're not having any problems with warfarin, which you'll feel fainting and it increases your risk of falls with that. So the next one we're going to talk about is the most important one for as we age is poor access and food insecurity. And that's the one where we have poor mobility is one of the toughest challenges for aging individuals in the United States because a lot of things are changing around us. We're not as mobile. We may not have, families too busy to take you to the grocery stores. There's not enough programs out there. And that's why we want to make sure that we organize and plan a car share with your family or friend to the grocery store, or Instacart does food stamps. They have benefits for that. So you can be able to put your information on there and they can be able to shop for you, have it come to your house within 2 hours, and you have your groceries like that. That's an option that you can be able to do. And that's really, really important to make sure that we get the right amount of foods come to our house. Or if you want to shop, perfect. Just plan ahead, make things, get some things that you do need, and then make it very short and simple. And we can be able to talk about that more about patterns and consumer psychology. And it's a very tough thing to discuss with older adults because of mobility around the whole story. It's so big. So in summary, we just want to make sure that we take advantage of making sure we have food access, making sure that we're meeting the aging individuals and making sure that we have the right medications, making sure that we have the right interactions, and we're taking the right amount of protein to make sure that we prevent future falls in this type of population. So I want to thank everyone for listening to this. I'm all done with my presentation. If there's any questions, I'm gladly answer it, and I love hearing questions or answering questions to anyone, because this is something that I love to do, is to address anything that anyone has any concerns on that.
Great, Roberto. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. It was a lot of fun.
A lot of good information in there. We do have just a couple of other things to show you all towards the end before we do get to those questions. But start thinking of your questions and start throwing those into the chat, and we'll try to answer all the ones we can if you have any questions. Okay. But I just want to talk about some of those local programs like Roberto was getting to. So, Healthy Aging Association, and we have some other local programs here in Stanislaus County that are great. So these are just a list of some programs that can not only help increase like your better, healthier nutrition or that access to food, like he was talking about. But it can also have other programs that will help to just decrease that risk for falling. Okay, I'm a huge advocate for falling. Okay, because my program and everything, I love what we get to do, and we want to prevent falls for all of you and to feel safer. Okay. So we have a couple of programs here. We have the Healthy Aging Association's Green Bag Program, which is going on this week if you are part of it. We do 10 pounds of fresh fruits and vegetables from Second Harvest once a month. It is an income-based program, but if you qualify, then you can receive that bag once a month. It's a great program. We also talk about nutrition. So we talk about things you can do to better your nutrition, okay? The Dignity at Home Fall Prevention Program, which is the program I'm running that you've heard of. So that's a great one to think about of trying to see if you qualify for, okay? It's such a good program to do. Young at Heart Strength Training, that's also with Healthy Aging, okay? So that's where we're going to be doing exercises. I think that we did a talk earlier this week about it, and you're doing just these strength exercises with tubes, and that's going to help build that muscle mass or help at least hopefully limit the loss of that muscle mass, right? So that can also contribute hugely to falls, okay, to preventing those falls. A Matter of Balance class, which we did talk about a little bit earlier, mentioned out to you all. So that's just a couple of those programs. A couple other ones that I wanted to throw out here for you all just to be aware of. Meals on Wheels is a home delivered program for food in Stanislaus County. If you were interested in seeing if you qualified for that, the phone number is right there. You can take your time and jot that down. That phone number is actually the senior information line, or it is the Area Agency on Aging. They have multiple programs, great organization to work with. So if you have any questions, you can kind of call them too, and they can really try to get you pointed in the right direction for multiple different programs. That's also including the commodity supplemental food program. That's one of them. And then I wanted to put on the bottom here, if you've ever done a Leah's Pantries type of class with us, I just wanted to put the website for eatfresh.org. I don't know if you've heard of it, Roberto, but I love this website because they give you recipes for healthy foods, and you can change it up from one person to 4 people to 2 people, and it can, if you sign up and do a free registration, it can text you the ingredients you need. So there's your shopping list. So I always kind of like to throw out eatfresh.org. I think it's such a cool website, easy to use. You can ask a dietitian or a nutritionist on there questions too. It's a really good organization to work with and stuff too. So those are just some cool programs wanted to show you. And then now we can move into our questions. So if anybody's thinking of any other questions, I think I got one in here right now. If anybody thinks of another question, just throw it on in there. So I have a question right here that's saying, do any of the local programs that we know about, do they provide modified diet meals?
So Sean, the first one you said about Leah's pantry, they're able to do that.
Really?
They're able to make sure that if there's a specialized or a modified diet that they may have, like for, let's say a good example would be consistent carbohydrate for diabetes. That would be something that they could be able to modify for you. Another program would be, there is one on Angel's Foods. There's one in LA that can be able to deliver to your house. There's Mom's Meals. Those are ones that can be able to do that for you. And they do it on your Medi-Cal, on Medicare. I think benefits on that. So if that's something that you're interested in, those are some programs that could be able to provide modified diet meals for individuals.
That's really interesting. I like to hear about that too, because what about like dietary nutrition, like restrictions? What about like if somebody's unable to have dairy and stuff like that? You know,
they do that, Sean. Yeah,
great.
They have some individuals that ask that no milk, no cheese, no shrimp, no fish. Those are things that they can be able to to do. Just want to make sure that they have enough food supply, because one of the programs that we do provide at Wellbe Health is mom's meals, and they are limited in the dairy. So if there's dairy-free options, that's something that they are able to provide for like 2 options or 3 options.
Well, that's
So
good to know. Yeah, that's got to be really good to know that you can do these programs and and not feel like there's going to be like, well, this is what you get.
yeah,
You can have a choice,
yeah,
and that's a big thing because some people have dietary restrictions. So I think that's awesome.
yeah.
Another question is, how can nutrition play a role in good quality sleep?
That's a really good question. So that's where timing and a dietary pattern before, eating at night,
Mm-hmm.
that's something that a lot of individuals battle, is having
Yeah.
hunger after dinner.
Yeah, I'm
And
one of them.
yeah, and I think everyone has their weaknesses.
Yep.
Some people like to have milk, warm milk,
Mhm. Yeah.
before they go to bed. That
Yeah.
is a intervention I would help individuals with
Mm.
sleeping better, is
Mm-hmm.
having warm milk, having
Okay.
something warm,
Mm-hmm.
having a cold shower, making sure
Okay.
you're not eating
Mm-hmm.
any food 4 to 5 hours before you go to bed. So if you know that you're going to be going to bed around 9 o'clock, the
Yeah.
last meal you should have is around 5:30, and
Okay.
give you enough time to be able to digest the foods, and so you don't have acid reflux. And that's not the best thing to feel, waking up during the night and feeling that your throat's is burning right now. So that's
Yeah.
something that would help with individuals with bad sleep. So making sure you don't eat very close to your bedtime, making sure that
Mm-hmm.
you have no technology or any phones, anything that disturbs your night sight.
Mm-hmm.
Sure your room's dark. If
Okay.
people like noise, that's something that can be able to help.
Great. That's
Yeah,
awesome. That's some good information for everybody, for
yeah,
it's the one I always hear being brought up is,
yeah,
how do I get better sleep? And it's like, well, you know, you gotta try and change things up a little bit. And I think that's
yeah,
really great. Avoiding those meals 4 or 5 hours before bed and stuff like that. I think
yeah.
we have time for one more question. Just gonna throw this out here. Is there any way that it says is there any way that anorexia with aging can be slowed down? Now, would that be the
Yes,
protein you were talking about earlier,
yeah,
maybe?
yeah.
Okay.
So making sure that you're physically active,
Mm-hmm.
making sure they have a social support with other
Mm-hmm.
individuals, because
Great.
sleeping, depression, any thoughts of any negative thoughts, stress
Mm-hmm.
management is poor,
Mm-hmm.
eating a lot of foods, obesity, those
Mm-hmm.
are ways to be able to prevent from muscle loss, rapid muscle loss.
Yeah.
There is a term called sarcopenic obesity, meaning
Okay.
that if you have obesity and you're not getting enough exercise, is very minimal,
Mm-hmm.
and muscle is one of the things that does deplete if you're not very active. So
Okay.
making sure that you're having some good exercise, sleep
Mm.
management, stress management, and making sure we're controlling your weight. That's another way to be able to prevent muscle loss from as we age.
Great. I think those are all great answers to all those good questions, right? Hopefully that answered some questions for everybody out there. Um, so just to wrap up here a little bit, we are at the end of our presentation. We appreciate you all coming by and hanging out with us. I know I had fun. Roberto, I know we've been waiting
Yeah.
all week to do this. We've been
Yeah.
excited. So if you missed any of these, if you missed any previous topics that we talked about this week, or if you can't make it to the ones in the rest of this week, they're all recorded. They will be on our website and other places for you to find so you can watch them. Okay. So tomorrow's Thursday at 2 p.m. There's going to be talking about healthy lifestyle for mind and body. Okay. It's going to be a great talk. And then we'll be doing another talk where I'll be back here again on Friday. And we'll be talking a little bit about infection prevention with Dr. Bob McGrew. That one again, They're both from 2 to 2:30. Okay. And if you haven't, then get out there and get your bag and come by and see us. And we'd love to see you all. Okay. Besides that, we are all done here. All right. Bye.
Thanks a lot, guys. See you guys later.
Good. Okay.